My name is Nicholas Chapman, for those of you who don't know, and this is my personal creed. Wait, how do I make it? Okay. So here are my influences. I have really four main influences I can break down. My friends are a great influence. My twin sister is also a great influence because I've really grown up with her, and she's like the other side of me. A lot of people don't know I have a twin, which, I don't know. But baseball is also a great influence, and skateboarding. So I'm going to explain baseball and skateboarding in my next slides, but I'm going to explain why my twin sister is an influence because I've really grown up with her. And in elementary school, I never really had friends, and she was really my only friend, even though she was my sister. And sort of just having like one person I really trusted helped me get through with having no really main friends in elementary school. And she's sort of like the other side of me. Like if she was never around, I don't know if I'd be the person I am today. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just that I've grown up with her. And then baseball, this is a huge influence on me because it's taught me hard work and dedication and really commitment, because it's not something that you can just not commit to. You have to show up every day, work, you have to give 100% effort even if you don't want to, just to play the game. Like I didn't play that much last year, but I still worked as hard as I could, and it really taught me that hard work, while you may not see its results now, they'll come later, and it's worth it in the end. So one of my largest influences, I'd say, is skateboarding. And why it's an influence to me is it's taught me perseverance, because skateboarding is something where if you can stick with a trick for months, maybe even years, and you won't land it. And this goes to the part of, not seeing the rewards now, but later. And it's also introduced me to new people. I've made many friends through skateboarding, surprisingly, and it's unlike many hobbies I've tried. It's something I've stuck with for almost a year and a half. So this is probably one of my favorite moments in skateboarding, and I'll play it right now. And so while it just may be a simple trick, that's a trick. A kickflip is something I've been working on for almost a year now. And when I finally, I've been able to land them before, but that moment when I landed them off like the crosswalk, that was like finally set it in and made me realize it's all worth it, because the feeling when you finally land something makes it like all the effort and time spent learning a trick worth it. And that's taught me that if you stick with things in life, you're going to eventually get rewards. So another huge influence are my friends. As you can see, these are a lot of pictures of my friends. Harnor's right here. Weston's another great one of my friends. So is Akshan. And all my friends now, the reason why they're influenced is because I see them every day. Well, not now, but people say you are who you hang out with. And they help me with this very project too. They send me pictures, and without them, I don't think I'd be able to make my project the way it is. And growing up in elementary school, I never really had any close friends. And high school was really my first opportunity to sort of branch out and meet a lot of new people. And I never really had people that I could tell my inside thoughts to and what's going on, and never would be able to get guidance from anyone. But now that I have friends, they help me with so many things. If I have like questions, if I have something that I'm going through, I can tell them and they help me get through it. And if they have the same thing, I help them. And I feel like without them, I wouldn't have the confidence and ability to like cooperate with people socially, because I would have never learned that. Because friends teach certain things like being able to work in a group and social skills. That's certain things that can't be taught in school. And we all imprint off of each other. Like we all affect each other in one way or another. And we all guide each other through the journey we're all on. We all realize that we're all trying to find identities, and we all help each other make us who we are. So my values, I value balance, because I find that everything in life is about balance. Like for example, let's take cake for example. If you have too much cake, you're probably going to get sick of it and you're not going to feel good. But if you have too little, you never taste its sweetness. But if you have just the right amount, you can taste the sweetness and not get sick of it. And another thing I really value is sacrificing for the greater good, because with today, I feel like everyone's really greedy and everything's out for themselves. But when you see someone go out of their way for other people and sacrifice for the greater good, it really distinguishes them from the crowd. And because they go out of their way, it really shows how much they care about others. And obviously, I value friendship because it's something I haven't had until really high school. And without friends, like without having friendship, I wouldn't know how to support people. I wouldn't know how to interact with other people socially, especially adults. So that's why I value friendship. Now, where do I see myself in 10 years? This is one of the questions that's hard for me because a lot of teenagers like myself don't really think about this. And one thing I'd love to do, I want to travel abroad because I've never seen other ways of life in other cultures, especially because I've never been outside America. And I want to become a teacher maybe in 10 years, but I'll explain that on my next slide about serving others. And then I want to live on my own because I like independence. I don't like having to depend on any other people just because I know that if like something doesn't go right, it's my fault. It's nobody else's. And then obviously if I want to become a teacher, I want to graduate college. And then, well, if college fails, maybe the military. This is not sure, but I feel like military could help teaches you a lot of mental toughness that I probably am going to need for later in life. So here's how I plan to help others. Me maybe teaching, I don't know. So the one way I plan to serve others is by maybe teaching people how to do things, because when you teach people how to do things, it can make a difference in their life. Like, people know the quote, if you teach a man to fish, you teach him, he's fed for life, right? I don't know how it goes exactly, but it's the same thing with teaching. If you teach someone something, whether it be, I don't know, how to change a tire on a car, or how to, unlock a phone or whatever, or how to use a phone, it's even how little, it still makes a difference because they use it. And when I feel like I make a difference in someone's life, that really gives me meaning, because had I not helped them or anything, then they'd be impacted in different ways. And knowing that if they're impacted certain ways, that means I'm here for a purpose. And if as long as I can make a difference in someone's life, a positive difference be that, then that's all that matters. So here's some things I think I need to work on. And as you can see, I put a wrench here because, working on stuff. And one thing, it may seem like I'm really confident now, but a lot of things I don't believe in myself. Like, for example, this presentation, I'm like, oh no, is it going to be any good? And I don't know, because, I don't know what other people think of it. But like, I feel like if I really believed in myself, I'd be able to go so much farther, because I always doubt myself, and that holds me back. Especially with baseball, I never believed I could get on base or get a hit, and that held me back. And it still has, but it's something I've tried to work on. And trust, I'd really like to work on trust, because I'm really cynical of people, and I just like to trust people and believe in them and have faith. And then optimism, sometimes for me, I'd need to work on that, because it's hard to see light at the end of the tunnel. And that really just makes things hard for me, like especially starting new things. And then I need patience, because the moment something goes out of line, like I'm used to things going the right way, which nothing does. The moment something goes out of line, and this ties into self-control, I'm really just out of line, and it's never good to be mentally stirred up when something's out of hand. So I don't know if I have time to explain this slide, but this sort of has an impact on me. I think we need to be here just to be honest and make life have meaning, not just to be happy, because life does us so many problems that if you're happy all the time, you're going to be putting on a mask, and it's just not going to work. But I don't think I'm going to go into detail on this slide, because I don't know if I have time.
You have time. Yeah, take your time.
Okay. So I feel like making a difference gives meaning. Also, I don't believe everyone's going to get what they want, because it's human nature to always want something bigger and move up to the next level. But if you're always wanting something, you're never going to be satisfied. While that is a good thing for motivation, I don't think you're ever going to be fulfilled. And then sometimes things are just unfair. That's how life goes. If you have to expect that, because the moment something isn't fair, you're going to be like, oh, this is unjust, this isn't fair, and you're going to get upset. And then I feel like it's a lot easier to do bad things than good, because you can spend an hour building a house of cards and knock it down in a second. But that makes you realize how hard it is to actually do the good things, which makes people that do good things even better. So this is the quote I chose, is knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And it's said by Aristotle. The reason why I think this is true is because if you don't know yourself, how can you know others? If you don't know how you operate and how you work, how can you really connect with others? If you don't know your limits and don't know your boundaries, you won't be able to achieve the things that you believe. Um, I guess that's the end. I decided to end on the quote rather than the end slide just to make it a little more unique, just because everyone has a slide that says the end. So that's it. Oh my God.